The State Department has just released a new batch of Hillary Clinton's emails, and they reveal an interesting disagreement between Hillary and a former staffer. Now, that staffer is Anne Marie Slaughter, who was the first woman director of policy planning at the State Department. Now, the whole thing started after Slaughter left the State Department, then wrote an article in The Atlantic about why she left. Now, the piece is called "Why Women Still Can't Have It All," and here is part of that piece. Quote, "Having it all was not possible in many types of jobs, including high government office. Juggling high-level governmental work with the needs of two teenage boys was not possible." Well, in an interview with Marie Claire magazine, here's what Hillary had to say about Slaughter's comments. Quote, "Some women are not comfortable working at the pace and intensity you have to work at in these jobs. Other women don't break a sweat. They have 4, 5, 6 kids. They're highly organized. Slaughter's problems were her own." Well, apparently Slaughter devastated by the comments, but what I wanted to bring it in, and obviously I have no context on this other than being married and kids and seeing there still are different standards. And I'll start with Eugenie in that you've got the idea that obviously more women are in the workplace, but women are being asked questions that men aren't. For women who want to be candidates for president, you know, how do you juggle being a mother and that? They don't ask the same thing with candidates who are male. It seems like the spectrum of that question, can you have it all? 20 years ago, yes. 10 years ago, I don't know. And now nobody can have it all. What's the answer?
You know, I don't know if I have the answer, but I have to say, I'm a big fan of Hillary Clinton's, but I was really taken aback by the comments, because I think as somebody who's potentially the first female candidate of a major party and potentially the first female president of the United States, she's somebody a lot of women look up to. And I think to hold women to a standard that if they can't do it all, if they can't work in a high-powered job and raise 4, 5, 6 children at the same time, that if somehow there's something wrong with them. And if I was Slaughter, I would be frustrated by that. You know, people have a lot on their plate, and to ask them to both raise children and work these high-powered jobs is a lot to ask of somebody. And sure, some great people can do it, but some of us mere mortals, we struggle with it. And so, you know, I think to hear Hillary Clinton act as if this was just a flaw on Slaughter's part, if I'm taking the quote the right way, and I want to say that, to me is a bit frustrating.
Well, another mere mortal joins us right now.
She's godlike, goddess.
Senior political producer Karen McBride. Karen, you've worked at different levels throughout journalism and different platforms, etc. You got a daughter of your own right now. It used to be, well, I'm sure it still is, women couldn't show some of the same frustrations as guys could in the workplace, especially I can imagine the print industry not that long ago. What is the goal? What do you say? You can have it all? Or if you do try to have it all here, you're never going to do both right? I mean, it seems such a difficult thing to navigate.
Well, I think we need to take a step back and think about, can you have it all and what that means? Because I think it means different things to different people. You know, there could be someone that could have a good job at a decent salary and be very satisfied with that and have a life. And then there might be other folks that want to take that to another level. And I know for me, in my career, you mentioned newspapers, I was always very driven, and I wanted to, I was the first one to volunteer to go on a press junket to Israel. And over the years, my priorities have changed, and certainly now with a child, I have a 5-year-old daughter, as you mentioned, what I'm looking for is quite different now than what it was back then, and I don't think I would be able to do some of the things that I did do now that I have a child.
You know, Gloria Steinem, of all people, got in a flap not that long ago, and this moving target of feminism and what it is and what you should want and everything. I think Karen said it right. It's different things to different people. I mean, I just know my wife works. We've got 3 kids. The oldest, not even 14 yet. It's a constant juggling. And men don't get the guilt as much, as women do about, well, am I spending too much time here and taking away from there or whatever else. it seems to be an impossible standard. I say that women got to adhere to more than even guys do.
Yeah, it
or
is.
mothers and fathers, maybe that's better.
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak for the fathers because I know they have pressures of their own, and those are real pressures, and they're changing. So I think many men feel like they're not sure what their role is now. But I think for women, one of the things we desperately need, and this is what I wish Hillary Clinton had talked about, but she has in the past, is we need support. And so I wish she would look at it from a policy perspective. We should have maternity leave like the rest of the world. Most countries in the world have paid maternity leave, paid paternity leave. We don't have that here. You're at the mercy of your company. We should have really good daycare settings for our children. And, those kinds of things would add a good deal of support and take some of the onus away from both the mother and the father and allow them to work and raise their kids.
And I'll give you the final impossible question, which is, because I know G's got boys to deal with. As a daughter, what do you say is that balance that you try and navigate, where you want them to be the best they possibly be at whatever field, but also, you got to navigate that family work balance too, which can be unforgiving in a lot of disciplines and industries. How do you, if not have it all, how do you work that balance out when there still is a double standard?
Well, I think your circumstances certainly influence a lot of what, you mentioned Hillary Clinton and you were talking about childcare, and that can be extremely expensive. I send my daughter to a private school, that's expensive. Fortunately, I have very good childcare and my parents, but a lot of people don't have that. And I think, with my daughter, she certainly can see by example that it is possible to have a career, to do what you want to do, and she's already, talking about being a doctor, so let's see, maybe she'll go in that
She'll
route.
take good care of you.
And hopefully I've not offered any opinions because I did bring nothing to. Thank you both very much. All right, coming up next, the president visits Paris to talk about global warming. We're going to talk about the politics, but also the reality of that issue.